Hello. I was having this conversation with my son today about conspiracy theorists or conspiracy theories and the government and video games, ADHD medication, cancer treatment, and the evolution of all of these things. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I don't think that I am. However, I have noticed a lot of trends when it comes down to medical treatment. Controversial or not, if a person is sick, the last thing they care about is, oh my goodness, how controversial is this treatment? Am I going to die? Is it going to keep me alive? Or what? I'll take it. That being said, the last thing they are focusing on at that time is the consequences to taking these treatments. You're like, okay, it said I may or may not develop kidney problems, or I may or may not have a valve defect. It's just a maybe, and it doesn't hit everybody. How do you think the people that it did affect came about? Because they were thinking the same thing. Well, it definitely wouldn't be me. It'd be those other people. Which people? So you think about statistics that say 1 in 3 people, 1 in 200 people, 1 in 300,000 people. No one of those people think that they're going to be that one. The issue with these treatments are a few things. Only my opinion. My opinion. When cancer was discovered many years ago, the treatment for it was surgery. Obviously, it was broke, fix it out. They cut out everything back in the day. They cut it out, they cut it off. It was what it was. All right. So then radiation came about. Well, with radiation, you are putting radiation in the body. That's not causes, if you're a woman and you can still have kids, it causes birth defects. It could affect the people that you're close to on a daily basis as well, because technically you have radiation in your body. All right, so then they came up with chemotherapy. Oh, well, it's not going to affect the people around you. You can't be pregnant on it. You can't get pregnant a certain period of time afterwards. It's just going to affect you. But hey, it's going to wreak havoc on your immune system. But I mean, it's just temporarily because we're trying to kill the cancer cells. And, the chemo, it just kills everything. It just doesn't say, hey, cancer cells, I'm only coming after you. That's very problematic for several reasons. Because when you say this to people, if they actually get the actual explanation, they don't understand cells. They don't understand how important the immune system is to the body. And how, if you kill the immune system off or weaken it in any way, you have now become susceptible to other common illnesses, but now on a more severe level. The best explanation for that is explaining to people, hey, people don't die of AIDS or HIV. They die from the complications of a weakened immune system. And that is the part that does not get discussed. I'm only having this conversation because there's a lot that's being overlooked because it's not understood by people. Next, ADHD. ADHD was not a thing back in the day. And then when it was a thing, parents was like, yeah, I don't, that's not real. All right. If you follow the advancement of technology in correlation to the prevalence of ADHD, you will see a very high correlation. Not only to those two things, but then you add in ADHD medications. And the prevalence of ADHD somehow just miraculously becomes overwhelming. Also, pay attention to the introduction of video games and how these all things correlate. Those, I think it's 5 things, what I just said. Okay. Those games are built to hold your attention. They are built to keep you anxious because it's holding your attention. And the way it holds your attention makes you very expectant. All right? People with anxiety are expectant of things that really doesn't exist, but in their mind, right? So now we got to try to control it. I'm gonna put you on some medication, tell your mind ain't really there, but you can go back and play that game. That don't work. We got other medication we can try. To some people, this makes sense. This is a part 2. So now you're on the video games. You've gone through 3 medications, and your child is amped up, violent, overreactive, has a social problem, social adjustment problems, the anxiety. Now they're sad because they feel like they don't know what happened to their life. Everyone thinks they're crazy. So now you got depression medications too. Understand this. The medications they give you are terrible. People say, well, no, it does something. How do you give a medication for something you don't test for? Like, so depression, anxiety, all of those things, most mood disorders, except schizophrenia is not a really mood disorder, it does affect the mood. It's dopamine. But your dopamine levels and serotonin levels, which they claim are being affected, I can't dispute that because obviously someone did research somewhere. However, when you get that medication, they're not testing anybody's serotonin or dopamine levels. And they're not explaining what these uptakers are or what the medications that, the serotonin, what is it? Something serotonin, something, or norepinephrine. They got all these different words. Forgive me. It's SSNRs, SS. It's a bunch of letters. The point being said, they're affecting your serotonin levels. And though I have speech problems if you ever see me talk, so it's not because I'm dumb. Sometimes the words just come and go. But they're not testing your serotonin or dopamine levels. They are giving you medications based off of your subjective symptoms. So if you don't know anything and you got a bunch of people telling you you're depressed, you're sad, or you're just crazy, you go to the doctor, you can say, well, I mean, I don't really think so, but my friends keep saying that I'm crazy or that but okay. So now you get medication not off your true actual feelings, but off some hell you heard somebody else say. But it's going to help you. Now you take the medication. All the medications have different reactions for everyone. There are some commonalities, but no one medication affects the same two people the same way. That's something people also need to understand. And you also have to understand this. If you're not aware of your actual mood, and now you're on a mood enhancing medication, there's going to be a problem no matter how you look at that, because you went and got medication based on something that wasn't actually a something. Okay. So legally, the government, this is the conspiracy part of this, legally the government cannot test on people. They've done those things. They're controversial. It's illegal to test people. However, if you create a scenario to where people will voluntarily take a medication and then you can record legally the results of said medication, you're still serving the same purpose. You're still having the same experiments that are controversial, but it's with the consent of people. And this is why the gaming market will never go anywhere, because it allows pharmaceutical companies to test people from all ages, all backgrounds, everything with their consent, without question. Hey, you got a medication, I need it, I'll take it. And I know people say doctors get kickbacks. I know it happens. I people are just terrible people. However, the people who are buying these video games is who are paying for all of these things. Understand this. Second conspiracy, but this related. So, COVID, and I said this before, is a conspiracy. One, you can't get rid of a lot of people. And the world, people have harmed the world. Global warming, like, it's really a thing. So to get rid of a lot of people without question, yeah, we're going to get a virus going that will kill people. Not all people, but it'll kill enough. However, people are getting pregnant during this epidemic. Keep in mind, they're also taking vaccines. Now, let's say you say, well, hey, I'm not going to take it, but the guy you get pregnant by, he took it. People keep subtracting how important men's sperm are during conception, right? Y'all see all these babies that are on, what you call this thing, social media. They souped up. They doing some crazy, like, things. They walking early. They're climbing. I mean, these kids literally come out talking and doing crazy stuff, right? Everybody don't even think about relating it to the vaccine. Keep in mind, these kids are also emotionally disturbed. All of them. They are emotionally subjective to their environments, which makes them controllable, which is the whole point of COVID. And that sounds far-fetched, but you get about 10 more years into this, and you're going to see how the government has somehow taken over a lot of stuff. And we see it in different aspects of life. But since COVID, so many people have been out of jobs. So that means they've had to sign up with some form of identification to some sort of either social account or government assistance. So they have registered to something. This is a way, subterfugely, to keep track of things. We've already had the Apple situation with the government watching people and stuff like that, but there are so many other ways to keep an eye on people and to track behaviors. And the only reason the person want to track behavior is if they've been experimented with. That's right. So leave your opinions and your thoughts. Let me know. I want to know.